tropics.
Oh yeah, we got to watch the tropics. Things are kind of starting to light up for us. And as we look here at the Atlantic, this is Africa, and you can see that Saharan dust that is coming over the Atlantic, but we do still have multiple waves that keep coming off. The question is, will all of this dust choke off those systems? That's what we want to have a closer look at now in your tropical update, because it doesn't always do that. We have two areas that we're watching here, 30% chance of our wave coming off of Africa, 10% of our one that's already in the MDR. And notice that we do have a lot of this dry air, but sometimes these systems, they can break through it. They can get through that. And that second system is looking like it has the best chance to do that. So as we go over time, you'll notice these spins in the atmosphere, right? There's one there, there's one there, there's another one there. But notice how this spin can kind of break away a little bit from that. So it's something you have to watch closely. It's not like, oh, there's dust. That's done. There have been multiple hurricanes that have been able to, survive all of that drier air and that dust. This is the area that we look for development this time of year. We still have a lot of hurricane season to go. Our peak is really late August, early September, around, September 10th, right around that date is when we really hit our peak. But don't forget, you had the Sandys and the Wilmas. Those hit in October, so you can't let your guard down once we pass September. These two areas we'll keep a close eye on in the Atlantic, and then we have multiple areas in the Pacific. This is Tropical Storm Greg, looking pretty raggedy, going to go south of Hawaii. We will not see any direct effects from this, maybe some indirect effects, like some wave propagation could make its way up into Hawaii, but it's really our high pressure to the north. This setup looks similar to last week when we had Dora to the south, much stronger hurricane than we do have with Greg, but it's really about this high pressure being a little bit farther north. It does strengthen. Today, breezy conditions over the islands for us. It's just not going to be as strong as what we saw last week. Yeah, we'll see 20, 30 mile an hour winds. Last week, we were talking 50 plus mile an hour winds. Cat 2 hurricane for us here. Fernanda, thank you. I wanted to say Fernandina because I'm thinking like Jacksonville. I see that Fernandina Beach. You got stuck on me. Anyhow, we're going to watch this, especially as we head into the weekend and it starts approaching Hawaii for us. Reynolds.
I've been thinking Fernandina Beach all
right,
night.
that's the pattern. You're home for the latest news and climate change and sustainability. I'm Steph Abrams.
And I'm Felicia Combs in for Jordan Steele. We want to get right to today's hot topics.
Yes. Now, whether you prefer avocado toast, guacamole, 4,000 brands of avocados.
Okay, I have a couple things about this. I was all in until they said a slightly different taste, because I'm like, well, now I need to know. What is that slightly different taste?
So did I ever share with you any of the skinny cados, as they call them in Florida?
No.
My friend Marissa, she's one of my high school friends, her dad has an avocado tree in his backyard. And they're called skinny cados because there's more moisture content to it. So they're a lot bigger than the avocados that we're used to. They're a little bit of a different color.
I've seen them.
The meat isn't as thick. The meat is a little bit thinner. They have a much bigger seed in the middle. Have I ever shared any with you?
No, but I think I've accidentally had some of those. Like, I think when I was working in Florida, someone brought them in, and I was like, what is this? Well, it's a big one. I'll try it, whatever.
Yeah, because they are big.
Okay, but my other question is...
But they're good.
I'll try. I don't remember loving it.
Next time they send me a shipment, every year I get a box from the family. I don't want to say their last name in case they don't want it out there. I'll give one to you.
And then really quickly, because we've got to move on, will it last longer in my kitchen? Because I'm like, oh, avocado, you're almost perfect. I'm going to make guac out of you.
That's always a problem.
And then I'm like, I have 3 seconds before it's bad. Like, what?
That always happens to everyone.
Questions, we'll have answers. Stay tuned with Pattern. Why are people sending packages of dead butterflies in the mail? Government research. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. The U.S. Geological Survey is asking people in Alabama, Georgia, Kansas.
We were saying how, opening it could be kind of gross. We're like, no, licking it could be kind of gross. Are you an envelope licker, or do you always do the sponge to get it wet to close it?
No, I live life right on the edge at all times. I'm like...
And is that your technique, like that, instead of the long?
No, because
you get
if I paper cut my tongue, it's a wrap. Nothing else is happening. But I will say, this is going to be my new hobby, I think.
What?
Looking for dead butterflies.
And send them to me?
I'm always looking for a good, fun outside hobby. Dead butterflies.
Now you have a new one. All right, cruises could soon be a no-go. But I wonder if they'll have a different option where they can, dock a little farther out, and then they can take in some of those smaller boats through through all the canals, which is a great way to see the city too.
Great way to see the city and to maybe contribute to the local economy a little bit more. And then I also think it's one of those things where you can't pour from an empty cup. We've seen so many places across the earth that are just beautiful that are being ruined by tourism, and it's like, you can't, it's going to be gone, or, you know, like things are going to be so much worse. So you have to, I support this. You got to protect yourself to.
And if you haven't been to Amsterdam, put it on your list. It's one of the most charming cities, interesting cities. You go to the Anne Frank House as well.
Okay.
Make sure you book well in advance for all of that stuff.
Right.
One of my favorite cities. Well, if you love the beach, you hate seeing trash pile up when you're there. I think we all, even if you don't like the beach, I don't think anyone wants to see trash piling up. Well, the next one's for you. Check out the Crazy Things volunteer.
I think the problem is calling it milk. Imagine if we just called it potato drink.
Juice?
Potato drink.
Potato
no, because even potato juice sounds like weird.
Oh, well, our pattern team tried the potato milk behind the scenes and says it wasn't bad. It was a little thick and tasted like hemp milk. So
I mean, I'm totally okay with that. I want to try it now.
I do too. Maybe you can make it. The recipe was on the screen there for you. Well, around the world, we're seeing more extreme rainfall as our planet continues to warm.
But it turns out we can better manage all that water with some careful planning. Pattern climate science producer Allie Van Fleet shows us how it's done. I don't know how many times we just have to keep saying it before it's like, oh, when the atmosphere is warmer, it can hold more moisture. It leads to these more extreme rainfall events. How many more times?
Exactly. Not only you're going to get extreme rain in one area and then extreme drought in the other area. So it's going to have it. It is. All right. Well, let's talk about the extreme weather we're seeing across the country today with Colleen, and it's the heat and the storms, all extreme.
I know. We got a lot to talk about, especially with the heat. I mean, I feel like 2 a.m. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But hey, even a place like Birmingham, you could be looking at temperatures in the 60s.
Bit cooler.
It's a little cooler.
Nice. Colleen, thank you.
Thanks so much, Colleen.
All right, coming up next tomorrow on Pattern, air travel generates about 2%.